my sweet wildlife down by the riverside and study the water. Well, I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no. Study war no more. Well, I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna tell people nature's plight down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna tell people the nature's plight down by the riverside and study war no more. Well, I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Well, I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna help make a better world down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna help make a better world down by the riverside and study the war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. All right. Very nice. Thank you for singing along. Now we're going to move on to a song by the great Pete Seeger, Sailing Down My Dirty Stream. Sailing down my dirty stream, I still love it, and I'll keep the dream that one day, though maybe not this year, my Hudson River will once again run clear. It starts high in the mountains of the north, crystal clear and icy trickles forth, with just a hit, with just a few floating wrappers of chewing gum. Sorry, couldn't read the words. Dropped by some hikers who warned of things to come. At Glen Falls, 5,000 honest hands work at the consolidated paper plant. 5 million gallons of waste a day. Why should we do it any other way? Down the valley, 1 million toilet chains find my Hudson a convenient place to drain. And each little city says, who, me? Do you think that the sewage plants come free? Out in the ocean they say the water's clear, but I live right at Beacon here, halfway between the mountains and the sea. Taken to and fro, this thought returns to me. Well, it's sailing up my dirty stream, still I love it, and I'll dream that someday, though maybe not this year, my Hudson and my country will run clear. My Hudson and my country will run clear. All right, we'll have a couple more songs later. at the end of the program. Thank you so much. But I think we're going to have some speakers now. All right, Talbot is the MC.
Greetings. We're here at Hudson River Park's Pier 63, bringing you a public event this evening, the Candlelight Vigil for a Cleaner Hudson. With the beautiful Hudson here, right at our doorstep. And there's something not so beautiful on the bottom. Dangerous chemicals called PCBs. And the short story is that we are asking General Electric, GE, to clean them up, to continue cleaning them up until the danger is gone. In the decades following World War II, General Electric had some manufacturing plants way upriver, and as part of the engine of progress, they dumped these PCBs in the river. After about 30 years, the chemicals were outlawed in the late 70s, and then GE spent the next 30 years fighting off attempts to get them to clean it up, but finally, about 9 years ago, there was an agreement reached between GE and the Environmental Protection Agency to clean up the PCBs. In 2009, GE began doing it. They created a system for dredging the PCBs. Great progress has been made, but they're about to close up shop, and it's a little too early. They haven't finished the job. So we're here tonight, and there's folks at 8 other locations in the Hudson Valley doing the same thing, asking GE to come to a mutually beneficial voluntary settlement with the Federal Natural Resource Damage Trustees and the New York State Canal Corporation to continue cleaning up the PCBs. There are real health difficulties due to the PCBs until we get them out. So we have some speakers here. We're going to have some more music, and then we'll have our little candlelight ceremony later. I believe the first speaker is going to be State Senator Brad Hoylman.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
One quick little announcement. We have T-shirts, buttons, and various things for sale over here at this table. Please come take a look. You may like them.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. So appropriate that you're singing Pete Seeger, because we know how much he loved this river and everything he's done to protect it. I'm Brad Hoylman. I'm the state senator who represents this neighborhood, Chelsea in the Upper West Side and Greenwich Village in the East Village. And it's a real honor to be here with people who care about the future of the Hudson River. And hello. And I'm the ranking member of the Environmental Conservation Committee in the State Senate, and we have been working with Scenic Hudson and Riverkeeper and NRDC, and you'll hear from some of them later. But we are trying to force General Electric to finish their cleanup of the Hudson River. They've only cleaned up 65% of the PCBs that lie under this silt right behind us. That stretches up over 200 miles. They've got to finish the job. They need to finish the job because they want to be seen as good corporate citizens. And they have a responsibility, a moral responsibility. They are the polluters. They're the ones who cause this mess. They're the ones who need to pay and clean it up. And more important than that, if GE pulls up out of the river, it's going to cost us tens of millions of dollars to get them back in. So it's also economically efficient for them to finish the job now rather than wait for some lawsuit or some further action from the state at a later date to get them back in. So there's a lot more work to be done. We need to engage the public. We need to engage everyone who wants to fish and swim and recreate on this beautiful natural resource behind us, this beautiful national resource behind us. So I hope you'll all stay engaged and write to the governor, Andrew Cuomo, who loves to fish on this river and talk about tourism, and write to Jeffrey Immelt, the CEO of General Electric, who has an office here in Rockefeller Center and a big presence in the state of New York and in the region, and urge them to come back to the table, to start talking to our friends at NRDC and Riverkeeper and Scenic Hudson. Let's give them a round of applause for all the work that they're doing. And make certain that they finish the job. There's a principle called polluters pay, and these polluters haven't yet signed the check. They've got more work to do. So we're going to continue to press Albany and GE to do the right thing and make certain that they don't leave the river before they finish the dredging. So we want them to stay and finish the job. Thank you so much for everyone coming out tonight, and let's get this job done. Thank you. Thank you.
How are you? Thank you so much, Senator Hoylman, for coming out here tonight. There's a coalition of groups that are sponsoring this. Some of them have been mentioned. Clearwater and Scenic Hudson and Riverkeeper and NRDC. We're very pleased to have someone here from NRDC, Daniel Rochelle, who's going to come and speak now.
I didn't get an invitation.
Hi all. Good evening. My name is Dan Rochelle. As mentioned, I'm an attorney with the Natural Resources Defense Council, and NRDC has been an organization that for the past 40 years has pushed the General Electric Corporation to clean up the PCBs that it dumped into the Hudson River. PCBs that have turned this beautiful resource into one of the largest Superfund sites in the United States. I'm maybe the fourth or fifth attorney at NRDC to work on this issue, and I can tell you that over the course of 4 decades, the legal and factual issues with this cleanup can get pretty complex. Oh, sure. And GE has used the complexity of the issue to their advantage, to confuse it and to confuse New Yorkers into believing that it can just walk away from the Hudson River, leaving millions of pounds of contaminated sediment and have no further responsibility whatsoever. Nothing could be further from the truth. Not only does GE have the moral responsibility to clean up its mess in the Hudson River, it also has a very clear legal one. And look, there we go. Luckily, explaining that only takes explaining a few simple facts. The first is that up until the mid-1970s, General Electric dumped millions of pounds of PCBs into the Hudson River. We don't know exactly how many pounds because, as you can imagine, the company did not keep records of that dumping. But we do know it's in the millions of pounds, and we know definitively it was GE that dumped them. We also know some simple facts about PCBs, namely that they are very toxic and very dangerous. PCBs have been associated with a range of human health effects, including cancer, neurological and hormonal disorders, and cognitive developmental disorders in children. What's worse is that you can become contaminated with PCBs in a myriad of ways. You can get PCBs, you can become contaminated by touching PCBs. You can breathe into PCBs that have gotten into the air, and they do get into the air or volatilize. Or for the many, many New Yorkers who fish in the Hudson River and are not aware of the State Department of Health advisories, by eating contaminated Hudson River fish. And that by far is probably the most common. Given PCB's pernicious nature, one of the most worrying facts about them is that because they were engineered for chemical stability, they really don't break down much in nature. that means that PCBs that were disposed of 30, 40, or even 70 years ago are still there, or most of which are still there today, and they're not going to leave the Hudson River until somebody physically takes them out and disposes of them. To make matters worse, this toxic pollution every day washes down from the upper Hudson into New York City, to the point at which 3/4 of the PCB pollution in the New York City area, and that includes Newark, that includes the East River, all of the waterways around here, 74% of the PCB pollution in this waterway is from the GE site, which gives you an idea of how immense the pollution problem is. Now, GE did everything it could to avoid cleaning up these chemicals for decades, but in 2009, it finally relinquished and began dredging and removing these sediments as part of a multi-part EPA cleanup plan, which I won't get into all the parts. The cleanup has gone pretty well of the sediments, except for one humongous problem. Back in 2002, when it came up with the plan, EPA made a giant mistake in calculating how many PCBs were in the river. About 2 months ago, NOAA, a federal science-based agency, released a study that reran some of the computer models that EPA did back in 2002, and what they found was shocking. Specifically, they found that that EPA had underestimated the amount of PCBs in the Hudson River by a factor of 2 to 3 times. And furthermore, although EPA expected to see PCBs naturally decay at about a rate of about 8%, that's just not happening. The rate is it's closer to 1%. Long story short, there are going to be way more PCBs left in the Hudson River than EPA ever thought after GE finishes its mandated cleanup, which it plans to do as early as this summer. And that has dramatic repercussions, both for the health of the Hudson and for the New Yorkers who use it. In fact, what GE plans to leave in the river is so bad that it's been compared to a series by 2 federal agencies, by NOAA and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, has been compared to a series of Superfund caliber sites that are going to be left in the Hudson. That means after the cleanup, what GE is leaving in the river is not the equivalent to just one Superfund site, but a series of Superfund caliber sites. So GE was going to say that by completing its EPA mandated cleanup, its legal responsibility to dredge the Hudson River is 100% complete. But we know that 100% of not enough is still not enough. Under the Superfund Act, and the law agrees, under the Superfund Act, GE has the legal obligation to clean up enough of its pollution so that it is not a threat to human health and the environment. And so if the multitude of toxic hotspots that it leaves still are a threat to the human health and the environment, it will one day have to reckon with that. Furthermore, beyond its cleanup liability, GE has the responsibility under the Superfund Act to pay for the restoration of the Hudson River and to compensate New Yorkers for the decades of damage that it has caused. This liability is known as natural resource damage liability, which you may know from the recent BP settlement for $18.7 billion, and $8 billion of that, over $8 billion, was for natural resource damages. The only Superfund site in the country that is even close to being as big as the BP oil disaster is the Hudson River. And the trustees, or the federal and state agencies responsible for calculating the natural resource damages, have noted that more dredging in the Hudson may be necessary to truly restore the river. So GE could settle this liability now by doing more dredging, making both New Yorkers and probably its shareholders happy. But even if it keeps burying its head in the sand, if the people of New York are united and we show that we're not fooled, we can make GE pay what the law says it owes. And that's why we're all here to light candles today in solidarity with the communities up and down the Hudson River to show that we're not fooled by GE and that we're not backing down. GE has the moral and legal responsibility to clean up its mess. And remember, at the end of the day, one of 3 things is going to happen with PCBs in the Hudson. GE is going to pay to clean them up. The New York taxpayers are going to pay to clean them up. Or they're just going to sit there, continuing to threaten the health and economic prosperity of the Hudson Valley region, including New York City. Let's all stand together today and make GE pay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan Rochelle. Make GE pay. I like it. So I think we all have an idea of how serious the situation is. And that's why, again, why we're here tonight. We're going to have a vigil. We're going to have some more music. So the group that's putting, that actually brought all this stuff here tonight is the New York City Friends of Clearwater. And believe it or not, to put on an event like this actually costs a few bucks. We had to spend some money to get permits, permit for use of the park, a sound permit for use of the microphones. So we have the president of New York City Friends of Clearwater, Edie Kantrowitz, is going to come and speak to you briefly about Friends of Clearwater and the money situation.
Hi, I'd like to really welcome and thank everyone for coming down here tonight. Always so wonderful to be with our Hudson River that we love so much. And, you know, the river is cleaner than it used to be, but we've still got a good ways to go, and so that's what we hear about tonight. It is my unfortunate pleasure, again, to be asking you for money. You might think it doesn't cost anything just to be sitting here by the river, but we have permits, we have expenses for material, we have lots of educational things that we're doing all throughout the year. So if you can please make us a little donation towards tonight's event and towards the other things that we're doing, it would be greatly appreciated. And it would be a way that you can very directly contribute, you know, towards what we're doing to clean up the Hudson River. We have a lot of activities going on in New York City Friends of Clearwater. We have monthly meetings at Judson Church in Greenwich Village. We have environmental roundtables, potluck dinners, music programs. We're going to be having our 7th annual New York City Friends of Clearwater Water Festival. We're going to be having our ride on the Sloop Clearwater. So what I would suggest you do is check out our table where we have the information, and we've also got some beautiful t-shirts and buttons over there. And again, I just want to thank you so much for being here and being part of it.
Great. Well, I think it's time to bring Peter back up for some more music. We got a few more songs to sing, and then it'll be dark enough that we can light our candles, as it were.
Okay, this song is called The River That Flows Both Ways. That's the Hudson. You know, when the tide comes in, it starts flowing up. He'd sing a song. Once the sachems told a story of a land the Great Spirit blessed, and the people followed the legend from the great waters in the west. And they stopped when they found that the fishing was good. Earth was as fertile, game ran in the woods. And now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Yes, I could be happy just spending my days on a river that flows both ways. First came the trappers, then came the traders, then the farmers followed near, and the valley treated them kindly. The farmers were good to see. were well laden that surrounded the battery with flour from Yonkers, furs from Albany, and now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Yes, I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Writers and painters have shown its health, beauty, its waters and on the shore, while musicians sing its praises, keep alive the river's lure. With the sun setting golden o'er the Palisades, afternoon ends, the daylight fades, and now I could be happy just spending my days on a river that flows both ways. Yes, I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. And maybe it's the moonshine, maybe it's the starlight reflected off good old Haverstraw Bay. Maybe it's the fog that rolls off the Catskill Mountains at the break of a brand new day. When apple cider and pumpkins, strawberries and corn make the people of the river glad they were born. And now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Yes, I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Yes, I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. On the river that flows both ways. All right, thank you very much. Now, our friend Bernice Silver is here, and at some point she's going to come up and sing a song that she wrote. But let's see now. I think we're going to do. Now, what do we still have left? Oh, I know what I'm going to do now. It's really, I think, one of the most beautiful songs that I ever heard. It's about a different river. But I just had to do this one because it's so pretty. I think a lot of you will know it. Harry Belafonte had a big hit of this in the 1950s. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Away, I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. I'm pushing on when dawn's a breaking, going across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away. I'm on the way across the wide Missouri. Oh, thank you. You know what? I'm going to do another. This is a Pete Seeger song. This song was made a hit in the 1950s by a guy named Jimmy Rogers, a folk pop singer. You'll remember it from him, but I'm going to do it the way Pete Seeger did it because I think it was much better that way. It's called Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. When I was a young man and never been kissed, I got to thinking it over of what I had missed. So I got me a girl and I kissed her and then, oh Lord, I kissed her again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. I asked her to marry and be my sweet wife. I told her we'd be so happy all of our life. Then I begged and I pleaded like a natural man. And then, oh Lord, she gave me her hand. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. I worked mighty hard, and so did my wife, working hand in hand to have a good life. With corn in the field and wheat in the bin, and then, oh Lord, I was the father of twins. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Well, our children, they numbered just about 4. They all had sweethearts knocking at their door. They all got married and they didn't hesitate. I was oh Lord, the grandfather of 8. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Well, now that we're old and ready to go, we get to thinking what happened a long time ago. Had a lot of kids, trouble and pain, but oh Lord, we'd do it again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, the great Peter Pasco. So we have another wonderful special treat for you before we do the candlelight vigil. And we have our own local, national, and international treasure. Bernice Silver is going to come over here and sing a special song she wrote about the river. And you are going to want to hear this. I think she can decide if she wants to tell us her age, but I'm pretty sure she's been around longer than most of us.
Hello everybody. I'm sure glad to see you folks. And today I'll give you the song Way Down Yonder. What? A little closer?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you to sing 4 lines at the end that I'm beginning to start with, and you follow me. Okay. Way down young where the... Oh, I can't read this.
Waters flow.
Way down young where the waters flow, there lived the seahorse who played banjo, because that's the thing he knew how best to do. He sang of rivers, he sang of streams, and all the strange things in his dreams, and the peculiar happened, and the peculiar, what's the word? Happening in his glimmering sea. He sang of octopi that cry because their tentacles will multiply. One grows short, the other one grows long. He sang of crabs that are growing crabbier and the fish that are growing shabbier, and that's the very reason for the song. So, dear friends, take my advice. Do think twice before you throw that plastic in the sea. It won't hurt you, it won't hurt me, but you'll cause some misery to Brother Dolphin in his glimmering sea. Sing this with me, way down yonder where the waters fall. There's the seahorse who played banjo, because that's the thing he knew how best to do. He sang of rivers, he sang of streams, and all the strange things in his dreams, and the peculiar happenings in his glimmering sea. In his and the peculiar happenings in his glimmering sea. I like it.
Wonderful.
That's it. I'm so glad to be with you all. It's great to see you.
It's a great honor to have you
It's been
here.
the first time in 2 years that I've gotten to one of the events.
Great.
And I hope there are lots more of them because they're so important.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Way down, way down to where the waters flow. There lives the seahorse who played banjo because that's the thing he knew how best to do. He sang of rivers, he sang it because their tentacles won't go multiply. One grows short, the other one grows long. He sang of crabs that are growing crabbier and the fish that are growing shabbier, and that's the very reason for the song. So, dear friends, take my advice. Do think once, do think twice before you throw the plastic in the sea. It won't hurt you, it won't hurt me, but you will cause some misery to Brother Dolphin in his glimmering sea. So everybody, sing way down there where the waters fall. There lives a seahorse who played banjo, because that's the thing he knew how best to do. He sang of rivers, he sang of streams, and all the strange things in the streams, and all peculiar happenings in his glimmering sea. Yeah. I have seen some history, and I read between the lines. Oh yes, I have seen some history, and I read between the lines. Some people think that what they see is the way for things to be, and the peculiar happens, and the peculiar things to be. But that is not the way for me, for I read between the lines. Oh, I have seen some history, and I read between the lines. Some people think that what they see is the way for things to be, but that is not the way for me, for I read between the lines. Okay. And that I won't sing anymore at this particular time, but I'll give you more in the future. What else have we got?
Well, there's gonna be a candlelight vigil. Would you like to hold the candle?
Oh, sure.
Would you like me to tell you how old it was?
So Bernice here will be celebrating her 102nd birthday in October.
In October.
Yay!
May it all happen to you.
And we're lucky to have her here to help us with the candlelight vigil that we promised you and what we have. So believe it or not, candlelight vigil, a historic kind of traditional event. You can't really hold a candlelight vigil with candles here in the park. But what we have is a substitute. John's going to hold one up. So we have a bunch of these. People can hold them up. They're lovely. It gets the point across. And if the reason why we can't hold a candlelight vigil in the park with candles is because candles aren't safe enough. Remember, what's really unsafe is what's going on out in the Hudson River with the PCBs. So we're holding the candles to ask GE to continue doing what they started and finish the cleanup of the Hudson River, the PCBs. So you're welcome to come join us and hold up one of these candles. We're going to do that till about
Join me, everyone.
till about 8:45.
Join me.
Hello, namaste. Right now we are inspired by Pete, and we are inspired by the clear water, and we are hoping to have a clear water for the Ganges River, a clear water for India. And what we see, some of the issues, some of the problems, some of the challenges are exactly the same. There is, it's a big mighty river. It's one of the greatest river in the world, one of the most sacred river in India, but it is also one of the most polluted and most contaminated rivers. And some of the victories which we had here for clear water, the Clean Water Act, which curtailed a lot of raw sewage going into the river, or like companies like GE, which are sort of have to clean up their mess. But we still have in India industries unabated, like they are putting all their contaminants into the river. Also municipalities, they are putting their sewage without any treatment, so even that awareness is not there. And when we look at Clearwater Hudson, and when we look at the songs of Pete Seeger, it inspires us, and it gives us hope when we look at this beautiful park and when we look at the road map which is provided by Clearwater, we think that maybe like in another 25 years in our lifetime we will see a cleaner, greener Ganges. Thank you. Pete Seeger was actually in India, and that was 1963, and he sang some of the songs which Gandhi sang, and of course this was the song which became the song of all the workers in the world. We shall overcome. So I'm actually gonna sing we shall overcome the way we sing it in India, and you are welcome to sing it the way we sing it in America. We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन.
That one. I almost felt that.
For the Hudson yogurt to make it more clean? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Really appreciate it. So, what's new?
What's new with you? Well, listen,
Yeah.
the good news
I
is
decided to make it part of opening holiday for me.
so you're the star of the show.
Was joy the show.
You haven't signed a postcard, please, we have them here, and if you sign clearly enough, we'll be back in touch with you, because we'll have other ways of telling GE and the governor that they've got to clean up the Hudson. So, raise your hand and I'll give you a postcard.
Oh, I think we all signed that. Did you sign one? We got to get one for you.
I'll take them back. I have a pen here. And
I should sign it. If I ever signed a postcard.
Okay. I know Benny did this beautiful banner over at John's house.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Workers who've been affected by the PCBs.
Yep, flags. Yep. Those are Benny's flags.
We're doing to celebrate. Beautiful.
well, yeah, so they can keep track of it. If you're willing.
No, I'm with James Woody. Wow. Yeah.
Those flags are just going. I tell you one thing, when the wind is blowing, those flags are going.
You are who? Yeah. Nancy.
Yes. Oh, good. Good.
Hey,
That's right.
I see you very became. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I can.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
My work was a little fun, but I shall dance.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to thank you. Also, I'm an environmental lawyer, but I'm working on behalf of the workers,
What?
GE workers that have been affected by the PCBs up in Port Edward.
What?
I'm trying to protect the workers affected by the PCBs up in
Oh,
the GE plant. That's,
We're all helping.
glad you gave me.
oh yeah, but we just want to give a little more attention for the state.
I'm glad you gave me. Hiya. Hiya, Danny. What? Danny.
I wear the gas mask. At Occupy, remember? Remember at Occupy Wall Street? The man in the mask and me?
That was you.
Yes.
You remember me?
Yeah, of course I do. I've met you a few times.
What?
I've met you a few times.
Yeah. I should have my keys with me. I hope you took it good.
Hello. So when is your birthday?
My birthday is October 7th.
7th. Okay.
In 1913.
1913.
I was born. Yeah.
Pete's, when was Pete Seeger born?
He was 5 years before me and kid.
5 months or 5?
5 years
When you were young.
before
Oh,
Did you know him?
Of course,
You did?
he and I were great friends.
Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? You must miss him.
Yeah. So I'm making that
Selfies, right?
in
Made
my
by Salty.
yes. So
They take selfies, right?
of course I do very well. And it's funny that to the time was near
Did you know Toshi too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, know the family.
I think she had a few strokes. Didn't she have a stroke?
Yeah.
And then the last time I saw her was at Clearwater, up on the Hudson, up north. And she had had a stroke already, and she looked pretty sick at that time.
Shame.
And then she died shortly after, and I think his heart broke. Another selfie for Benny.
He was very happy.
I think
We had a weekend trip.
yes. You were there?
And I was there and I sang.
I was there.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he had me on the stage. All of a sudden they must have told him that she was very sick. And he ran. And that was the last I saw him.
Then she must have died right after that.
Yeah.
Very, very, very. Somebody told
Did you get the
me,
one
I
with
don't
the
know if
moon?
it's true,
Get a picture with the
that his
moon?
friends all went to the hospital and they went around his bed and they sang to him.
All our people, my cousin also was activist. She, Lucille, her name was Lucille. Anyway, she's dear. And also died very of a cancer. Yeah. So
We're going to play another two. You get up there.
Christine.
What's his name? John.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, John told me about it.
Yeah, I wrote to him. I wrote to him.
I see.
How you feeling, all right? You feeling
Well,
pretty good?
pretty good. The doctor said I'm getting pretty good. And he said that
Everybody probably knows this one. Let's see.
I can't.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking this river highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me the Golden Valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is mine. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go stalking that freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Oh, bravo.
Woody Guthrie, the great Woody Guthrie. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Here's another Woody Guthrie song. See if you remember this one. Come gather round me, children, the story I will tell about pretty boy Floyd the outlaw. Oklahoma knew him well. It was in the town of Shawnee on a Saturday afternoon. His wife beside him in a wagon as into town they rode. Then along come a deputy sheriff in a manner rather rude, using vulgar words and language his wife she overheard. Then pretty boy grabbed a log chain, that deputy grabbed a gun, and in the fight that followed, he laid that deputy down. Then he ran through the trees and the bushes, and he lived a life of shame. Every crime in Oklahoma was added to his name. Yes, he ran through the trees and the bushes along the Canadian River shore, where many a starving farmer opened up their door. There's many a starving farmer, the same story told, how the outlaw paid their mortgage and saved their little home. And they tell about a stranger who came to beg a meal, and underneath his napkin left $1,000 bill. Well, as through this life you travel, you meet some funny men. No, that's another verse before that. It was in Oklahoma City, it was on a Christmas day. A whole carload of groceries and a letter that did say, you say I am an outlaw, you say I am a thief. Well, now here's a Christmas dinner for the families on relief. As through this life you travel, you meet some funny men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun, some with a fountain pen. Yes, as through this life you ramble, as through this life you go, you're never gonna meet an outlaw or drive a family from their home.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone. So we have to finish our vigil for the evening. So these wonderful technological candles actually are reusable, and so if you have one, we request that you return it over here. So I just want to thank the people who put this together. The New York City Clearwater, Kantrowitz, the president of the New York City Clearwater.
This one is a candle.
The artist
Take a picture with the
wonderful
candle.
New York City's environment.
Then he's able.
The big issues
Of course, Peter Pasco and Bernice Silver for the music. Our great speakers, State Senator Brad Hoylman and Attorney Dan Rochelle from the Natural Resources Defense Council. But I hope I thanked just about everyone, but there's one person who really made this come about. It could not possibly have happened without him. That is the stage manager for the event this evening, Mr. John Breitbart. So it's a big round of applause. So thank you, everyone. Remember, we're here to ask GE to continue and finish the job of cleaning up the Hudson River, the PCBs from the Hudson, and you're going to hear more about this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I have to get used to what all the
You're more,
I'm all those.
Manny, get the moderator.
Just push this button.
Yeah. Oh. I thought it was I thought it was